We think we know what we want, but we often have no idea what we need. And because of that, we often approach life with one goal, and we end up finding our real purpose along the way. When I left New York and I came to LA, I had the singular goal of becoming the lead on a TV show. I had gained some experience in New York playing a naive, weed-obsessed sex pot and reefer madness. I thought, perfect, I'm ready for Los Angeles. Surely I will be embraced immediately. So I hopped on a plane, I arrived in the land where the streets are soaked in sunshine and self-tanner residue. I had the confidence of an overserved freshman at a frat party. I was like, here I am. And I began the process of auditioning, which it's really just a condensed way to say driving back and forth to Santa Monica in rush hour traffic. But the feedback that I received was that I was always either too young, too old, too cute, too plain, too smart, too ditzy. It was as if Goldilocks were every casting director, and I just couldn't nail it. And eventually I started booking some co-star and guest star roles, but my coveted lead eluded me, and I would go to bed negotiating with the universe. I would say, okay, if I could just book the lead on CIS NCIS Miami, I promise I will decrease my carbon footprint by at least 6 in the next calendar year. So clearly, I know absolutely nothing about the measure of carbon. I find it almost as confusing as the concept of the Magna Carta. But then it happened. I was cast on Veronica Mars, which was my first show, and everything I ever wanted was in front of me. I was earning a real paycheck. I was the lead of a TV show. I owed the universe all my carbon. But once we started shooting, something very unexpected happened to me. Well, 2 unexpected things. The first was Ryan Hansen, who played Dick Casablancas. His hair. It was the exact, almost too accurate, too on-point shade of surfer blonde boy. It was like the kind that gives you PTSD from walking along Venice Beach, that you're just like, whoa. It was terrifying, and I loved it. The second was that, despite the recognition of my dream, I wasn't happy, like at all. My arrogant little asshole brain could not comprehend what was happening. I was like, how was this possible? This is what I wanted and what I needed, right? And yet I had it all, and I was lonelier than I had ever been. And it wasn't until the boy with the surfer hair invited me to his birthday party, after hours offset, away from work, that everything changed. He wasn't just inviting me to his birthday party. He was inviting me to his life party, to his community. And I finally felt at home, and I made some of the best friends that I still have to this day. In retrospect, I know it wasn't the role I was looking for. It wasn't a paycheck or a titular character. What I really needed was friendship. So I want to stress to you, build your tribe. They will keep you alive. In my life, there is only one concept that I have determined. It's that everything is gray. Every person, every question, every tragedy, even every victory, they all have nuance. Pay attention to the nuance. You all in this room, I feel like, know that better than anyone. You know it in your bones because you've devoted your time to building stories, building people. It's what you do. You are people architects. You read a script and you construct a walking, breathing human from the ground up. When we create characters, we are encouraged to make them 3-dimensional, right? In acting, 2-dimensional characters, they're at the least boring and at the most extreme irresponsible. We're told to embrace complicated characters. We are taught that you can't accurately play a villain until you find one thing about him that you love. One of my favorite producers has a poster over his desk that reads, "What does the villain want?" Because in art, we recognize all characters start with an empathetic motivation. On stage, we prioritize listening because we know the livelihood of the show relies on it. We are good at remembering those things when we make art. But in our daily lives, we tend to forget. When we shift from the stage to reality, nuance seems to get lost in the shuffle. In real life, we don't look for the one thing we love about each person. Complicated characters get cast out, and we view things 2-dimensionally. It's also becoming increasingly apparent we're not listening to each other, even though, like on stage, the livelihood of this entire grand show relies on it. The great news is we can all choose, right? When hard moments arise, you can lean on the experience you've gleaned in these past 4 years, and you can choose the nuance. You can choose complexity over simplicity. You can listen to others with open ears as if your next move depends on it. You can Sandy Meisner your life. So class of 2019, as you move your tassel from the left to the right and officially take the steps forward toward your forever, I encourage you, take them with your nice foot. And if you take away one thing from this, remember what I said earlier. If it's not hurting anyone, great, get yours. And maybe share some with your neighbor. Thank you and congratulations.